Others, comrades and friends, I am Monica Moorehead. I'm a member of the Workers' World Party Secretariat and a managing editor of Workers' World newspaper, and I am very honored to welcome you all to our party's Black History Month, or Black Liberation Month, for honoring the great revolutionary Malcolm X on the anniversary of his assassination 50 years ago at the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem. I should also take note that May 19th will be the 90th anniversary of Malcolm's birth. So I'm sure we're going to be continuing our, commemoration of him at that time and hopefully throughout the year. All over the country and all over the world, Malcolm's legacy is being examined and commemorated with forums like this one. And thank you for coming out. It's a really terrible day, but this is a great turnout, so thank you for coming out. And the demonstrations that took place, are taking place, have taken place, like right here in Harlem just a few hours ago, that was organized by the People's Power Assembly, OccuEvolve, and there's other commemorations happening in Brooklyn, and tonight at the Schomburg Library, and of course throughout the country. Our sisters and brothers in Ferguson and St. Louis, of course, we all know that's that's been really the origins of the Black Lives Matter movement in this country, beginning with the murder of Michael Brown. They have called for a national day of actions today in honor of Malcolm X and throughout Black Liberation Month. Malcolm never compromised his militancy when it came to fighting for the liberation of all oppressed people, especially those of African descent, no matter where they lived. Malcolm's worldwide perspective was evolving into an anti-capitalist one. Before he was tragically cut down by government assassins' bullets at the young age of 39, he was sowing the seeds for the formation, as we just heard, for the Organization of Afro-American Unity, which was based on the formation of the Organization of African Unity. And the main objective for the AEOU was to build a strong united front in the Western Hemisphere, regardless of ideology, to fight for national liberation. His speech in Selma, Alabama, just a few weeks before, quote, Bloody Sunday, when hundreds of Black people were viciously attacked on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, again called for such unity, including with the massive civil rights movement led by Dr. King. A significant fact that I wanted to bring to your attention, which is I don't think really known. I think most people know what the counterintelligence program was and is today, still going on, more known as COINTELPRO by the FBI. This was a terrorist program that targeted the Black Panther Party, the American Indian movement, the Young Lords, and even the civil rights movements, especially in the 60s and 70s. They actually started a file on Malcolm X as far back as 1953. 1953. This is when he was just, coming into the Nation of Islam. He was actually in prison. But what they did, they found a communique from Malcolm when he was in prison saying, this is a quote, "I was always a communist," which I thought was very insightful. This is part of the Malcolm X, the FBI Files book. And two of my favorite Malcolm X quotes that really reflected his connecting the anti-imperialist struggles to the oppressive capitalist system. This was one that was made after he came back from Mecca in 1964. It says, "The same man that was colonizing our people in Kenya was colonizing our people in Congo. The same one in the Congo was colonizing our people in South Africa. and in southern Rhodesia, which is Zimbabwe today, and in Burma, and in India, and in Afghanistan, and in Pakistan. They realized all over the world where the dark man was being oppressed. He was being oppressed by the white man. Where the dark man was being exploited, he was being exploited by the white man. Now, that's end quote. And then this is a quote that was made, part of a speech that he was made a week before he was assassinated. This is, quote, "It is incorrect to classify the revolt of the Negro as simply a racial conflict of black against white or as a purely American problem. Rather, we are seeing today a global rebellion of the oppressed against the oppressor, the exploited against the exploiter." So even if Malcolm X had not evolved into the internationalist that he was moving towards before he was cut down, his contributions as an uncompromising revolutionary black nationalist who preached the right to self-defense would and should still be commemorated and honored by revolutionaries everywhere. I just found out that just recently in Beirut, Lebanon, there was a conference in honor of Malcolm X. And the forum we are holding today would not only be looking back at the life and legacy of Brother Malcolm, but more importantly, how his legacy lives on today in the current struggles and movements here and worldwide. Malcolm stood for the workers as well. He stood with the black and Puerto Rican hospital workers back in 1964 with A. Philip Randolph, another prominent black labor leader. And especially today with the Black Lives Matter movement. And we want to have this afternoon an in-depth discussion and dialogue, probing dialogue on Malcolm X's legacy today, but also looking back at his life. And the people that you're seeing up here will be giving some opening comments to help lay the basis for that dialogue. And I'm really, really honored that we have with us 4 young leaders of the movement today. This is Simone from East Flatbush Cop Watch. Simone Gamble. We have Alexia Philpo, who's a Hunter student, who's also leader of the People's Power Assembly. We have Colin Ashley, who's a graduate student with CUNY. He's also leader of the People's Power Assembly. We have Ramira Funes, who is a leader of Fight Imperialism Stand Together Youth Group, and also a leader of the Honduras USA, Resistencia USA, and Larry Holmes, who is the first Secretary of Workers' World Party, and also a leader of the People's Power Assembly. And we're also going to have other planned comments, after the panel up here do their opening presentations. So first of all, we're going to hear from Larry Holmes.